Tonight, unions rally across South Australia demanding changes for school staff, and farmers on the Eyre Peninsula in the spotlight, sharing their concerns about the future of their industry.
With the latest from around the region, your nightly news with Louise Hedger begins now.
Good evening. Education union members in Whyalla have taken their fight to the streets once again, marching to the local MP's office to deliver a letter destined for the Treasurer. More than 50 schools closed an hour early today as teachers escalate their calls for better pay and conditions.
Angry teachers walking off the job, rallying in Port Lincoln and Whyalla. Today's statewide action, part of an ongoing battle for more money and better conditions. This strike, the third this year.
See what real life is like, Mr Lucas, Mr Marshall, Mr Gardner. We'd love you to experience it for real. We want respect, we want to be heard, we want a decent deal for public education.
A number of different schools, and they've gathered at a central point in a country location. In many cases it's outside the local MP's office.
Unions say it's not just teachers frustrated with the state government.
Push to improve conditions in schools, in country schools, will help our students, so they have my full support.
But the Treasurer is biting back, saying taxpayers can't afford the impact caused by increasing the pay rise offer.
I've offered them a very generous 2.35% increase, 3.35% for principals and preschool directors, when the inflation rate is only 1.4%.
The unions vowing to continue their pressure on the government.
They're not walking out on the children and the students, they're working out for the children and the students, because we are unable, after many, many months, over a year now, to get a resolution with this state government.
While those on the coal front bear the brunt of strikes like today's. Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Eyre Peninsula farmers have been put under the spotlight this week, with the nation's peak body for grain research visiting the region. The tour helping highlight the unique challenges faced across the peninsula.
A panel of some of the country's top grain experts debriefing after their 3-day tour across the region.
It's really important that GRDC as an organisation actually gets out into the region, in this case the EP, and meets with growers in their paddock.
Members say the aim of the meeting was to listen to the constraints and issues raised by farmers, hoping to address the problems by injecting more funding into research.
Calcareous soils are an enormous issue in a large part of the region, and the tie-up of nutrition with them.
Peter Coleman is a third-generation farmer in Manamakla and says the high calcium soil is an ongoing issue plaguing farmers.
That's an issue that has been ongoing for a long time, and we're trying to get the maximum profit out of those soils.
Another big issue raised, the region's lack of rainfall, with farmers battling one of our driest winters on record.
Some people are in very dire situation, and some even going into their second year of extremely dry.
The panel will fly to Canberra later today, where they will discuss the issues raised. Nathan Rector, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
An inaugural meeting between councils in the Upper Spencer Gulf and the heads of the state government has been held in Parliament House. On Tuesday, the Premier met with local mayors to discuss 3 large-scale projects expected to bring in hundreds of jobs. Upgrades to roads in Port Augusta, extensions to Whyalla's airport and the rollout of Port Perry's abattoir, all on the agenda.
We walked away feeling absolutely pumped that there was something going to happen in the South Australian area.
Roundtable meetings are set to take place every 3 months. The aftermath of the Whyalla jetty fire is still being felt, with council members today reviewing the exact circumstances around the incident. It's expected the blaze will not affect the construction of the jetty, but the clean-up effort is expected to take days.
SafeWork SA reviewing the damage done. Whyalla Jetty, the last 75 metres of it destroyed by a large fire yesterday afternoon.
And once the sparks and some heat had got into those planks, unfortunately the fire took very quickly, it took hold.
Council says safety is one of their main priorities as they check in with the workers.
Yes, I came down to do a bit of a welfare check with the maritime workers after everything was under control, and just to check they were okay.
One worker was forced to leap into the water to escape the flames. He was then pulled by his heavy clothing back towards the burning jetty. But a quick-thinking Port Lincoln police officer jumped in to help.
We're extremely proud of the officer's actions. Shortly after he arrived, he saw that there was a man in trouble in the water and without hesitation took his clothes off and jumped in to save him.
The Mayor says the incident will not delay the new jetty, which is estimated to finish mid-next year.
My message to the community is that we don't see this will have any delays to the project.
Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The repair of the South Australian dog fence could begin as early as March next year, according to Livestock SA. It says the project has broad support from farmers, despite some concerns about raising funds for the rebuild.
A 100-year-old dog fence that's allowing some predators to slip through undetected. Last year, farmers lost an estimated 19,000 sheep to wild dogs. A much-needed upgrade to 1,600 kilometres of the fence, hoping to provide more protection to those on the land.
It's absolutely vital to the South Australian sheep industry, not just the pastoralists.
The livestock industry will chip in $5 million for the $25 million project, but some farmers battling the drought are concerned the dog fence levy will be raised to $475 each year.
When you raise a new levy, there is always going to be concerns.
The levy is expected to return to its original rate as soon as the money is raised. The first repairs are due to begin in March next year.
I think it's the responsibility of all livestock producers and members who live in rural areas to manage dogs as effectively and efficiently as possible.
Garth Burley, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Yorke Peninsula's iconic teddy bear fence is set to be torn down in 2 weeks' time. The fence, housing hundreds of stuffed animals, has become a popular roadside attraction. The member for Ngatunga says he has contacted the relevant minister to find a resolution.
I think it's important to discuss the lack of impact that it's having while it's there. It doesn't appear to be harming anyone. Certainly doesn't cost anything to leave it there.
More than 20,000 people have already signed an online poll in support of keeping the fence up. Still to come tonight, concerns raised from within over the efficiency of Broken Hill Council and pristine conditions for the Spring Carnival at Port Pirie's Bowls Club. Hello again. A Broken Hill councillor has raised concerns about a number of council performance indicators not being met, but the city's deputy mayor has hit back, saying more than 60% have been completed.
Work to be done.
When you're not meeting those key performance indicators, it's really a message to councillors, a message to the community that councillors have to lift their game.
A key performance indicator is a measure of how operational targets are being fulfilled. In Broken Hill City Council's 2017 to 2021 delivery program, there were 264 targets set. A progress report shows 159 target KPIs have been completed, but 76 are either not achieved, commenced or deferred. The Deputy Mayor saying the program still has 2 years to run.
It's pretty unrealistic to expect that we would have completed all of those key performance indicators in every area of council's activities.
Councillor Kennedy says a number of incomplete goals are due to lack of council resources.
This is something council should be looking at and actually implementing something to take care of this, and it's not going to happen by itself.
Patrick Reinke, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Sterile fruit flies produced in Port Augusta are once again helping protect interstate horticulture, with the insects released into Cobram in Victoria and Hillston in New South Wales. 2 million sterile flies will be released each week into both areas until April next year. The dangerous Queensland fruit fly is responsible for an estimated $300 million damage in lost produce nationwide. Kimba residents are being urged to submit their names on the electoral roll in order to have their say about the proposed National Nuclear Waste Facility. Locals will have until midday tomorrow to finalise details, with ballots to be posted to voters early next month. 2 sites in Kimba and 1 site near Hawker have been shortlisted to host the facility. 40 city and country clubs will be rolling into Port Pirie this year for the annual Spring Carnival at the local bowling club. This year is tipped to draw in hundreds of players from across South Australia.
Perfect conditions for the season opener of the Women's Medley Championship at Port Pierie's Bowls Club.
The Spring Carnival is usually the first tournament of the season, and we like to get in and get a bit of practice, and yeah, it's a bit exciting.
The 4-day event attracting hundreds of competitors who've driven hundreds of kilometres to get their turn on the green.
This is our 32nd year of our Spring Carnival. We have people coming from all over the country.
The event growing in popularity each year, with an estimated 120 people bowling each day. Competitors eyeing off $4,000 worth of prize money, which is up for grabs.
Oh, that's half the fun of playing bowls, is meeting and greeting people and just enjoying it.
The local club also looking to draw in the younger crowd.
It's so enjoyable because you can play at whatever level you would like. Okay, they're not bowling bounces at you or hip and shoulder like they might in football, but it's very competitive.
Dominic Beaton, 7 Spencer Golf News.
The Broken Hill Basketball Association is hoping to sign up more junior players for its upcoming season, and early signs are positive. A recent come and try session saw more than 80 kids try their hand at the sport, 3 times more than organisers expected. Luckily, every child had a ball to practice with. 2 more junior days are planned, the newly elected president saying children are the future of the game.
It's not being about the next Michael Jordan, it's about just coming out and starting a team up with your mates at school, your cousins, your friends, whoever you want to.
The next Come and Try Day will be held on the 21st of this month. Organisers of Broken Hill's 2nd annual race meeting say they can't wait for the day to finally arrive. The Silver City Cup was almost scratched this year after the deadline to register the meeting was missed.
Given the green light.
It's fantastic to say that we've got the 2nd race meeting back in Broken Hill and cannot wait. It will be an action-packed day.
The Silver City Cup race day will be held on October 26. Racing New South Wales has approved the date after organisers failed to submit the event before the cut-off.
There's not too much sort of happening around the western New South Wales. A lot of trainers are willing to take the step and to take the leap to come out to Broken Hill, experience the culture.
The Silver City Races office will open next week with tickets to go on sale soon after. It's traditionally known as the family-friendly of the 2 local race meetings.
Enjoy the day. It is a family event. There will be facilities for the families and for the kids. We're back racing and we're very happy to say that.
Patrick Reinke, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. We'll have the rest of the day's sport news and the weather with Britt. Welcome back. It was an evening full of celebrations last night in Port Lincoln with the town's Football League hosting the male medal presentations. Mallee Park and Waybacks running a tight race for this year's male medalist.
The night of nights for Port Lincoln's football teams. By 1 vote, Mallee Park player Casey Amos took home male medalist, his coach accepting the award.
He done his job, he done what he needed to do, and I think obviously it was good enough to get him over the line.
More than 100 members were in attendance last night to honour those in Port Lincoln's Football League, from best and fairest to life members.
Fantastic to see Scott Clark get life member of the Port Lincoln Footy League as well. He's obviously coached Waybacks Football Club. He's actually coached at Great Flinders as well.
With the grand final just around the corner, everyone's eyes will be on who will win this weekend's preliminary finals and who will battle it out against Tasmans in the big dance.
Heart's obviously always with Marvel Range. It's going to be hard to go against Mallee Park though. They've been on top of the game all year.
Well, I think we should have them. We have enough self-confidence in each other to get us there.
Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Now let's hear from the experts with this week's fishing tips.
I cannot believe what's happening at the moment. Those big salmon are floating around in Port Broughton, just inside the channel, just outside the mouth. You find yourself nice sized salmon and they are just so much fun to play with. Usually at this time of the year we see a little place at Port Davis that actually fires up called Checker Point. You should be able to find yourself some nice King George whiting. We're coming around to Port Pirie. The fish are firing up around the creek area. You do have to be very patient, as we mentioned last week. King George whiting is still over at the Eastern Shoal area and the top of Ward Spit, and we've still got a few salmon floating around. And don't forget yellowtail kingfish. There's been a couple sighted in the river system.
G'day and welcome to this week's Fishing Tips from Port Augusta, Jewel North. Well, a bit of a fisherman's basket at the moment. Some nice King George whiting getting caught down the Flinders Channel. There's been some reports of crabs getting caught as well. I'm not sure where, but generally try a little bit deeper and wait for about 10 minutes before they come in the nets for the first pull. It's a nice salmon up and around the creeks. There's still some squid around, but you can expect them to be tapering off a little bit, and the first sign of trumpeters shouldn't be too far away. That's all we have from the Jewel of the North.
G'day and welcome to Fishing Tips in Port Lincoln. We'll start locally in the bay here in Lincoln. The squid have been still a little bit patchy, but a few squid are starting to show. Whiting are still a little bit up and down, but there have been some fish from Carcass through to Taylor's Landing, and that seems to be the best stretch at the moment for whiting. Out wide of Point Sir Isaacs, there's been some good red snapper, and there's been some lovely school sharks caught in that area as well over the past fortnight. Down on the south coast of Port Lincoln, the Sleaford to Wanna stretch is producing quite a few salmon at the moment, especially with northerly winds. And there have been some good fish too, up around the 3 to 4 kilo mark. Well, that's all for this week. We'll see you again with more fishing tips next week.
And to see whether it will be good fishing weather, here's Britt Aylen.
Thanks, Lou, and good evening. It's been another warm and sunny day across the region with a tiny bit of cloud cover about the lower Eyre Peninsula. Port Augusta reached a top of 30 degrees today, Broken Hill 28, Whyalla and Port Pirie both 25, Port Lincoln and Adelaide 21. A broad high-pressure system kept the region mostly clear with warm and dry winds. Moving ahead to tomorrow on the waters, southerly winds tending southwesterly at around 10 knots with seas at 1 metre, and sunrise will take place at 6:24 in the morning. It's looking to be a fine and partly cloudy day across most parts, a top of 28 degrees expected at Woodner, 26 at Port Augusta and Corn, Broken Hill and Port Pirie both 24, Cleve 23, Whyalla 21, Clare and Kadina 20, Port Lincoln, Coffin Bay and Adelaide all looking at tops of 19. Looking further ahead now, partly cloudy at Port Lincoln across the weekend with showers expected on Monday. Cleve looking sunny on Saturday, fine and partly cloudy on Sunday with possible showers on Monday. Woodner sunny on Saturday, then fine and partly cloudy Sunday and Monday. A sunny start to the weekend for Whyalla, then looking fine Sunday and Monday. Port Augusta expecting a sunny Saturday, fine on Sunday with strong winds on Monday. Kadina looking sunny on Saturday, partly cloudy on Sunday with a shower or two on Monday. Port Pirie, sunny on Saturday as well, partly cloudy Sunday and into the new week. Clare also with a sunny start to the weekend, fine on Sunday with a possible shower on Monday. Broken Hill looking bright and sunny across the weekend with a fine and partly cloudy day expected on Monday. And Louise, that brings us to the end of the forecast. It's back to you.
Lovely, thank you for that, Britt. And that's your local news this Thursday evening. Thank you for joining us today. We'll have updates later, but until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.